All right, we are live on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. Welcome to a very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight for this very brief yet very important stream. I have some major updates to announce here tonight regarding the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short, also known as the GNA Network, and an amazing podcast that's going to be coming very soon. That's going to be run by none other than my wonderful, beautiful, amazing lady of 3.5 years, Dawn Ledgerwood, and myself, Elias Melas, also known as Eli. But before we get to all of that, first of all, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me make sure, first of all, that the back end of YouTube is rolling well. And it looks like it is. Let me make sure Facebook is rolling well. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It looks like it's rolling very well. And let me just do a sound check real quick. Give me a second here. Run by none other than my wonderful, beautiful, amazing lady of 3.5 years, Dawn Ledgerwood, and myself, Elias Melas, also known as Eli. But before we get to all of that, all right, YouTube is rolling well. Let me make sure Facebook is rolling well on the front end of things here. Come on, Facebook. I cannot see the Facebook stream here. I do not know why I cannot see the Facebook stream. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know what is going on here, but it appears like I'm going out on Facebook, but I cannot see it on my end. Give me just a second, folks. My apologies regarding that. Well, I'll have to figure that out afterwards. But anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? It is Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, and what an amazing week it has been so far for my girlfriend Dawn and I. I hope it's been an amazing week for all of you out there. Tonight, I want to make a very special announcement that my girlfriend Dawn and I are going to be doing a weekly podcast that will more than likely be starting either next week or the following week. We haven't decided yet. It's going to be coming up within the next couple of weeks. We will keep you posted on YouTube through community postings on this channel here, GNA, Genuine Personal Development, and also GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. Now, for the time being, I'm doing live streams from the studio here on the main channel, but they will eventually go back to GNA2. And this is going to be the pre-recorded channel where Dawn and I are going to be releasing our 1 hour pre-recorded, once again, 1 hour pre-recorded podcasts that we're going to be recording weekly. Now, what is this podcast going to be about? Well, the title of this stream is Dawn and Eli Take on the World Podcast, coming soon. So why did we call it Dawn and Eli Take on the World? Well, if you've been following us on YouTube and Facebook for the last several years, you know, it appears like we've been pretty much taking on the world, especially primarily our wonderful, beautiful haters that we like to call fans. And both Don and I have learned a lot. We have learned a lot regarding, how to handle ourselves online, how to deal with hate. We've learned that social media sometimes can be a little overwhelming or overbearing, and you've got to learn to balance it out, which we have. My girlfriend, Dawn, has also been dealing with a lot of health issues over the last several years. We've done many streams in the past out here on the YouTube end of things to share her story. But her story really didn't get much justice. It got a lot of hate. It got a lot of criticism. Now, there were some people that enjoyed her story, and we appreciate those people, and hopefully got value and you learned something from it. Okay. But one of the things that that Don and I we struggled with is not letting the haters get to us. And this is one thing that Don and I have talked a lot about over the last several months. And what we came up with is basically that we've learned to embrace the hate, embrace the trolls, and to look at the trolls and haters as fans. And that's how we're going to see it from this point on. Now, what are we going to be discussing on this show? A little bit of everything. Because when we say that Don and Eli take on the world, we don't mean it in a negative way. It's not a negative connotation. You can take it that way if you'd like, right? You have the right to take something any way that you want, right? You're entitled to your opinions. Pretty much that's all you're entitled to in this world are your opinions, and we understand that, right? But what we mean by taking on the world is in a positive light, through a positive scope, okay? We want to take on the world and do whatever we can by sharing our stories and being there to give people the emotional support that they need to feel important and to feel like you're worthy of something. A lot of people are struggling with their self-worth, and that's one thing I used to struggle with in my younger days. That's something that Dawn not only struggled with her in her younger days, but even, over the last several years, she struggled with that. And she's basically turned that completely around. She's turned that completely around, and she's ready to take on the world and help uplift people, help inspire people, and motivate people to become the best version of themselves they can be, so that way they can accomplish whatever it is that their hearts desire. It's the same exact purpose that I've always had. Okay? So, we're going to be talking about some politics. Now, Dawn she hasn't really enjoyed talking about politics, but she's actually seen the importance of discussing certain aspects of politics, and she will be sharing her thoughts about President Trump, about Elon Musk, and about everything that's been going on, since Trump took office earlier this year. Okay, that's going to be one aspect of the show. Another aspect that we're both going to be talking about, and Dawn is looking forward to talking about this, is she's going to share her experiences of, dealing with trolls and haters. As she entered this platform a little over 3 years ago. I had already been doing this for 3.5 years when I met my girlfriend, Dawn. And she was new to all of this. She wanted to come on and help me, but I told her, I said, hey, you know what? Let me prep you for this because people are going to attack you. They're going to do things that are not so nice. They're going to meme you. They're going to say things that are going to offend you. And I just want to forewarn you, right? And I prepped Dawn for about 6 months before her and I started doing, live content together without using her real name and without, showing her face. She did audio only, and those were fantastic. Okay. And then after about half a year or so of doing that, Dawn came out with her real name, and she also started showing her face and all of that. So she has a lot of experiences in dealing with people online. And she wants to share her stories just like I do, because we don't want you folks to feel discouraged from, becoming a creator yourself. Okay. There are many people that have seen what have happened to us, and they're like, I could never do something like this. I've got a lot of great stuff to talk about, but I just, I don't want to be attacked. I don't want to be doxxed. I don't, want people making memes on me and, this and that. And Don and I, as part of doing this show, we want to motivate, inspire you, and encourage you to not let that get to you. Okay. If you have a goal, a dream, an aspiration, and you want to share your story, YouTube and the internet's one of the best places to do it. So, don't let other people that are actually your biggest fans get in the way of you, creating your success. Okay. Because they are your biggest fans. Your trolls and your haters are your biggest fans, and you have to learn to embrace them. Okay. You have to learn to understand that it's just a part of the gig. It's part of the game. That's just the way it goes. So that's pretty much what it's going to be in a nutshell. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that, because everything involves personal development and self-help. Okay. We're going to also talk about, I forgot to mention this, we're going to talk about business topics as well, too, as they, are necessary and relevant. And, that's going to be, what we're going to be doing. So, we also are aware that our one group of biggest fans that, we call them haters, but they're actually big fans. They're going to continue to talk about us every day. They're going to rebroadcast us. And that's because they like us. That's because we're the most interesting thing to them. And we're not saying that to say that we're all that. Don and I are very humble people. Okay. And we don't feel that we're any better than anyone. But to put it in context, in proper context for you folks, okay, when it comes to haters, don't let them get to you no matter what they do. A lot of haters, they'll rebroadcast your live streams. They'll, put out memes of you. They'll do all this crazy, stupid stuff, right? And you have to understand that they see you as the most interesting option for them to make content on. And if they're constantly making content on you, what they're basically validating is that you are the most interesting thing that they can make content on. Now, they might say, oh, you're cringe. Oh, you're a lolcow. Oh, you're this and that. Whatever they want to say, whatever, right? Whatever they want to say, whatever they want to say is the reason, is on them, right? But the truth of the matter is that they're doing it because we're interesting. And when it happens to you, because it will happen to you if you start creating like us. Sorry, if you start creating like us, it will happen to you. We want you to learn to embrace it and understand that you are the most interesting thing they could be doing at that current moment. All right? You know, it's so comical to me that we got this one guy. We're not going to mention any names, but we are going to share stories about these people. We are, because they do that to us, and they're not going to be our entire content, but they will be a part of it, right? Now, this one guy in Florida living with his parents. Every time, whether I go live day or night, he's 3 hours ahead. I'm on the West Coast. He's on the East Coast. He's 3 hours ahead. I did not promote this stream in advance, yet here he is rebroadcasting right now. He sent some trolls in here. It's probably him telling people to come over to my group and watch this simulcast, right? And then you have the other guy in Louisiana that used to be a part of our group, but we got rid of him because he was trolling. Again, he's botting day or night. It doesn't matter. He's also 3 hours. Actually, I think he's 2 hours ahead, 2 or 3 hours ahead. I can't remember if parts of Louisiana are 3 hours ahead and parts are 2, but he's at least 2 hours ahead. And here he is botting this stream again that I did not promote. I did not promote this stream in advance. I just went live on the fly. And here are these two middle-aged, grown-ass men that are infatuated with, rebroadcasting me or botting my live streams so I don't see my actual numbers. It's just, it's comical. And Don and I, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Okay. And eventually, as the podcast grows, because we're actually going to put this podcast throughout the entire podcast network. And for the first time, I'm going to be using YouTube's podcast feature, which will also help us get some more exposure, right? But as the podcast grows, we're going to start to bring on guests. And again, the podcast is not going to be live. The podcast is going to be pre-recorded. Right now, it's going to be once per week for an hour. In some cases, if we interview someone and we need to go a little bit longer, that's fine. That's no problem. Some weeks, if we have the time and it's warranted to do 2 episodes or more, we will do that. Looking forward to our upcoming show. Hey, babe, how are you doing? Yeah. You got the rebroadcaster, the dude in Florida living with his parents. He's sitting there rebroadcasting right now. He sent his people here, or he sent himself here to promote the show. And then the guy in Louisiana that used to be a member on our channel, the one that has a wife as a nurse, he's botting again. And I didn't even promote this stream in advance, right? That's how big of a fan these people are. You're fans. You're absolutely fans, right? Okay. Right? I mean, how about the guy in Florida? Oh, I get it, babe. Don't worry about don't worry about the spelling. It's not a big deal. I knew what you meant by that. Okay. How about the guy in Florida do a podcast with his girlfriend on something more productive than focusing all of your energy on restreaming me, which is absolutely stupid, right? You can talk all the shit you want, and it doesn't matter. We're just going to tackle things head on. Dawn is going to be more of herself than ever before. Okay. One other thing I wanted to mention before going off the air. When Don and I used to do shows, okay, we used to talk about things in a way where we didn't we didn't want to give people the wrong idea. And also, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, you're right, babe. You're right. It is what it is. But you know what? Even these people, they're going to be watching. They're going to be shocked at the tremendous, changes you've made health wise. And how much stronger you've gotten, and how much that or how this doesn't bother you anymore. The fact that this doesn't bother you anymore, they're going to see that, and eventually, it'll have its course. It'll be played out, But yeah, Don and I, we used to, kind of, hold back a little bit on what we wanted to really put out there. Because of this hate group and other people, we didn't want to give them the wrong idea. But Don and I talked today, and we're like, you know what? Let's just give it to them straight. Let's just be straightforward and upfront. We don't have to mention names if we're talking about certain groups that we don't want to mention and give notoriety to. We can use it for example purposes and just be upfront and not have a care as to what they say or do, right? And that's how we're going to handle it. So, I told Don, I said, look, I'm not going to hold you back. I wasn't trying to hold you back initially, but, you were still fairly new, Don, babe, and you were still learning to deal with the court of public opinion, and I just didn't want him to attack you and affect your mental health. Well, Don has tremendously become stronger. And, her mental health has gotten a lot better. And a bunch of other amazing changes that I'm going to, wait to have her talk about when we start doing the show here. So that's pretty much that. We are at 22 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening to the Facebook broadcast here, but anyway. But anyway, I'll figure that out again later. All right, so that's pretty much it. I didn't walk today. We had some stormy weather earlier today, and we had a pretty windy day to the point of where I just stayed in, did some things around the house, and started to prepare for this podcast. As you can see on Facebook and YouTube, the thumbnail's been created. It's a great picture of Don and I, when we took a walk. I was just, doing a bunch of other maintenance, a bunch of other maintenance. Let's leave it at that. But anyway, that's all I had to say. Pretty much, that's that. That is that. Yeah, here's the thing. You're not going to get to Don, and you're not going to get to me. Okay? You're not. You're all watching because you love Don and I. You wish you could have the relationship that Don and I have. Right? So you want to come in here and try to upset my woman and talk shit about her daughter. It doesn't affect her anymore. She's worked through that. And everything is all good with her family. So if you want to come in here and act like a fucking 2-year-old and intentionally try to trigger my woman, and I know who you are. I know who sent that. It's this one guy. It's that one guy. I know who it is. You're pathetic, man. It's just, you're pathetic, and you're a big fan. You're all big fans, right? Also, we're going to be doing some occasional podcasts with the GNA executive team, Senator Palacio and Tia. We're going to bring them on, at times to discuss certain relevant topics. So stick around for that. Let me see. Yeah, and here's the thing. Our show is not catered to you haters that want to come in here and just try to trigger my woman and I. Okay? We're going to answer questions, or we're just going to put things out there that we want to put out there for the masses. They're not for you. They're not for you, right? Okay? And let me just say this. Let me put it out there, okay? Because I really don't care anymore. I don't. Okay? You guys that come out here and you try to attack another man's woman to try to get to him makes you more of a big fucking pussy than you already are. You are. You guys are BFPs. You're big fucking pussies is what you are. Okay? Because your life is so miserable and pathetic. I don't have the time to do even as much content as I used to do. I have a busy life with my wonderful girlfriend, our dogs, and our families, right? But you guys have all the time in the world to drop everything the moment that I go live or we go live and rebroadcast us, one of you. Bought us, another one of you, bought live view bought, I'm going to bought Eli, right? And then the other dude comes in here trying to talk shit about my girlfriend's daughter because in the past it used to trigger her. Well, newsflash, sir, it doesn't trigger her anymore. It doesn't trigger me. Okay? You guys are losers. You guys are the worst excuse for mankind. And these are a few men in this hate group that lack emotional self-control. They lack self-respect. They lack self-love, right? And only people that lack self-worth behave this way. I don't see how that is relevant, so move on. Right. It's not relevant. It's not. We'll talk about it if Don wants to talk about it. If Don wants to talk about it, we can talk about it. We're going to talk about whatever Don wants to talk about regarding that. And if she doesn't want to talk about it, no big deal. We're going to have so much to talk about. Right? But that's that. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Tomorrow, I believe the weather will be better, so I'll be walking tomorrow on the other channel. If you have not subscribed to the other channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, please do. Link is below in the description section. Yeah. And that's that. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.